Dear friends and chess voyeurs, welcome back, or rather, welcome period, to my channel. Since this is the first English video in this channel, I wanted to try this experiment. This channel is normally in Italian, but I don't know, I wanted to try and reach a wider public, so here we go. My name is Andrea. This is a YouTube Italian channel regarding chess and philosophy mainly, and the subtitle of the channel is a channel for voyeurs, because we live, in a voyeuristic time. We are always busy watching, videos, reels, memes, posts, all kind of stuff, Instagram stories, and so I kind of suspect we do live in a voyeuristic era. For my Italian subscribers, do not worry, the channel will be regularly in Italian, but I wanted to try this for once and see if I get a good response from the English speaking public, English listening public. I might as well keep on doing this. So, without further ado, let's jump right in. We have a chess game I just played on Lichess. I am kind of, an amateur player, so I'm not, a super grandmaster or anything. I just enjoy the game and I play occasionally. I am around 1700-ish on Lichess. My peak was around 1900, but I lost a lot of points. My suspect is that I was lobotomized overnight at some point, and my rating dropped dramatically. I'm trying to improve a bit during these holidays, these Christmas and New Year's Eve holidays, and so let's look at this nice game. I am playing the Nimzo-Larsen attack that has 1b3 as its first move. And I like this opening. It's a really flexible opening which can transpose in a number of other openings, like the colored Zuckertort system, or the regular Nimzo-Larsen, or a Nimzo-Indian with color reverse. So it's a really flexible way of, opening the game as white, avoiding too much theory. And of course, before I forget, don't forget to subscribe and like and leave comments and spam hype points and so on and so forth. If this English video does well, I can keep on producing some more English speaking content. My opponent replied with knight f6. It is an Indian type of setup. I fianchettled my dark squared bishop on b2. He replied with d5. I played e3 to open up my light square bishop. He played c5, and I played f4. This is the sort of standard setup for the Nimzo-Larsen attack. The idea is that the combination of my dark square bishop and the pawn on f4 do control the dark squares in the center, and I let my opponent occupy the white squares, and in the long run my plan will be to attack his short castled king. Of course, I'm playing on Lichess. It is a blitz game, 5 minutes plus 3 seconds, of increment, and my opponent is some Lagotriche something, around the same rating as I am, 1785. He goes on with knight c6. I pin that nasty knight with my bishop on b5, and he pushes. This is something I do not see very often. It is rather an unusual kind of response. It weakens the center, and I just take. Bishop takes with check, doubles his pawn, and I play knight f3 to keep controlling the dark squares in the center, and I maybe prepare to capture on d5. He takes, and now the most important moment of the game that gives to the whole game its flavor. I decided not to retake and exchange queens and so on and so forth. Rather, I decided to castle and gambit a pawn to quick development. So he takes, I take back with my knight b takes in d2. He pushes a6 to open up his dark square bishop and prepare to castle. And now the plan is to not to let him castle, to put it simply. I put my knight in on e5. e5 is a very typical square for the knight in this kind of position. The knight is supported by my bishop, is very strong and threatens the doubled pawn on c6. He defends the pawn with queen b6, which has, of course, another menace in it, that is to push the pawn on c4 and give a discovered check to my king, which I immediately stop by counter-attacking. I play knight d to c4, I block the pawn on c5 and attack his or her queen. He moves the queen here. Let's assume he is a he, so he moves the queen back on c7. I play queen f3, very standard stuff, lining up rook and queen and attack the f7 point, which is very weak. He further develops and centralizes the knight d5. This is kind of a slow move. He should have been more concerned with get ready to castle. He wants to, playing knight d5, he wants to defend his weak pawn by obstructing, my queen's attack on the pawn on c6. And I keep pushing. The position screams for such a move. I want to open up completely his king and leave the king in the center of the board. He takes. This is a second pawn sacrifice. And now I keep on, piling up, exerting pressure on the position by putting my a-rook on e1. Now he plays bishop e6, which is a very natural move, a kind of a mistake, or, not the best move according to the engine, but who cares what the engine thinks? After all, the engines do not think, they're engines. And now this is another critical moment of the game, because I wanted to make this guy stay in the center, and I did not know how to do it. I played a sort of spectacular but incorrect sacrifice with knight takes f7. This is not correct. This is a kind of a blunder. Not a very serious blunder, by the way. The evaluation is plus 2.6 now, and after the blunder drops to minus 0.8. So the game is now equal after the very suspect sacrifice. The right move to do was another one, a very tricky one, was knight a5 to threaten the doubled and weak c6 pawn. If he takes the knight, which is on pre, of course, the obvious move is knight takes c6, attacking the queen, attacking the bishop, attacking everybody around. Another idea after knight a5 was to just castle, but now I can follow up with knight takes c6. This is hanging. Everything is very shaky. This is the knight is hanging. So if he defends, he tries to defend with like knight to d6. I can take the knight. Bishop to d6, sorry, I can take the knight. If he defends with the obvious move, bishop to e6, I can take. And if he takes with the queen, I can take the knight, since the bishop is pinned. Or if he takes with, if he if he takes with this guy, I can follow up with queen c3 and line up this wonderful battery against his g7 point, and the only defense is f6, which is not good because it drops the bishop. But I did not see anything of that. This was way too complicated for my very poor level of play, and so I followed up with, as I said, the sacrifice. Knight takes f7. He takes back with the king. I checked him. He pushes the pawn g6, blocks the check and attacks my queen. I put my queen in this nice square, preparing to invade the long diagonal, fully controlled by my bishop. He stops any of that, playing bishop f6. And now I played knight e5 check, which is not the best move, but is good enough. He retreats back, and now I can play a fantastic move, which is Knight takes g6. Wonderful move, attacking the rook. If he takes, he gets mated very quickly. After queen takes, he must go to f8, and now my rook can deliver mate, because after, let's go back, after going with the king on g8, the back rank is weak, so moving my light piece can open up the path for my rook to invade. I did not see the wonderful knight takes g6 sacrifice. I pushed the pawn, h4, not the best move, but hey, whatever. He tried to counterattack, plays bishop a6, attacking my rook, but this is a kind of a waste of a move. I play c4. I wanted to play c4 anyway, so I blocked the diagonal, attack his knight. And you see, my play has not been very correct, but this is one of those games in which I put my opponent. I'm rather a positional type of player, but at times I like to put my opponent in such uncomfortable positions, and he has to try and find every move, the perfect move to defend, and this is very hard, especially in blitz. He chose to play knight b4. I'm not sure the knight was not really en prise because the pin was pawned to the rook, but still, he moved the knight, and so I kept going with h5. It is still considered a blunder by the computer. The blunder wanted some queen c1 nonsense, or still knight takes g6 is good, but I don't know, I pushed the pawn, I might as well keep on pushing it. He played knight d3, this drops a piece, he took, and I took back, so I'm now only down a pawn, I think. Yeah, I'm only down a pawn. My king is safe, his king is not, and he has double pawns, whatever. The attack paid back. Now he defends, puts his queen on this diagonal, and attacks the knight. Also, I do the multi-purpose move queen d2, which both retreats the queen, avoids the queen exchange, and defends the knight, and he finally cracks and blunders. This is a very interesting type of blunder. Normally, a move like rook a d8 is made without thinking, because in a normal type of position, our king is castled, and this rook is on f8 or another square, but still communicates, is in contact with the other rook. So he did this move without thinking, with the force of habit. We are used to have the rooks connected, but the rook is not connected, so I can take the rook with check. And now the game quickly finishes. Check, and I take the queen and his mate in 4, and I'm a queen up and a ton of material, a queen and a rook up. So I hope you enjoyed the game. The Larsen is a very flexible, very nice, very funny opening to play. Sorry for the lighting. It's kind of sunny on my face with dots of lights. It's okay. And yeah, thank you if you followed me through the game. It was a nice game, very, amateur-esque type of game, but still a nice game to play, a fun game to play. Hope to see you again on this channel. Please let me know if you want more English videos. I hope yes. I would be very much delighted to keep doing English videos with Italian videos as well. And yeah, that's it. That's all, folks. Behave, and see you really soon.